Hello, this is Write to Rewrite, and I'm here to read you a couple of sections from my story, The King and I. I awoke with my breathing heavy. Something had happened. Someone was in the crypt with me, and my resting place had been disturbed. The lid was off my face, revealing the face that stared back at me. This was not the normal way to be woken from my slumber. I sat up, moving the rest of the lid off of me. She stood there, face drenched in blood, her hands red with blood, and the quiet, pale gown she wore stained at the neck and down the front, so much blood. I could not speak. I think I had a spider in my mouth, but she could speak, and did quickly answer the question that my face gave away. He could not take it, she sobbed. He sat outside in the garden all day, and when he did not come in, when it got dark, I went to look in on him. There he was, dead. She sobbed into her hands, the blood dripping between her fingers. I coughed and found my voice. How? She slightly lifted her head and looked at me. He slit his wrists and bled out. He said something about the bleeding heart tree starving yesterday. That's all I can think about him. Alone, dying, while I was off doing his duties. Maybe if he'd been more involved, then he would not have been so worried about that damn garden. She had sobbed more into her hands. He's been like that for quite some time. There's no reason to blame yourself. I told her this, knowing the heartbreak that I felt when I lost my queen, who walked into the ocean and never returned. Sleep now, sister. I will break the news to the settlement, and let the oldest of the kings comfort you while you sleep. He did that for me, and now I am ready to rule again. But I am no longer a queen, she sobbed. He cannot comfort me now. She sobbed again, and I could feel the heaviness of her heart. You are an ex-queen in distress, and I will place you in my private chamber here, and sleep, sister. I will take care of everything. She shuddered beneath my momentary touch while I guided her to another room just off of the main room. It was small and only held my first sarcophagi. She climbed in it, and without another word, let herself be swept away into sleep. I left the crypt feeling the heaviness of my heart, and the vampire whom had just died had been my maker. Long ago I had broken ties with him because of his addled brain. He had been helped with his years as king for a very long time, and the help that he was placed with was a strong queen. They had been together for 4 cycles, and she had been good for him, strong, and on top of the duties that he was unable to keep straight. With her in the crypt, it was my turn to take over all of my subjects and all of my subjects had to be notified. As I entered the main chamber of the king, I found that those loyal only to the true king to be waiting, with the body of the last king on the table covered in blood. Is he truly dead? I asked one of the men in the room. No one answered, but they all carried the faces of those whom are in mourning. I must go, I told them. I am not the king until I have a queen. They said nothing, and only returned to the king's side and picked him up to move him out to the ocean, where all of our dead go to sleep.